Soldiers, sailors, airmen, and women enlist in the armed forces for many reasons, including a sense of duty, patriotism, the adventure, travel, and adrenaline. When service members are injured or wounded and can no longer perform their military duties, they quickly find themselves removed from their team, no longer serving the purpose for which they trained.
I came back from Afghanistan in 2013, and it was kind of a trial and error of finding out, after the military, what's next in life.
Motorsports offers an opportunity to regain that sense of identity within a safe, fast-paced team environment, providing a renewed sense of purpose. Like in the military, in motorsports, the goal is in accomplishing the mission, winning as a team, collectively celebrating the successes and supporting teammates through the losses. Operation Motorsport also offers virtual engagements and recovery opportunities through an iRacing league, engaging beneficiaries in a safe, competitive environment from the comfort and safety of their home. Operation Motorsport believes in the power of team, identity, and purpose.
Lots of you go out to the Virginia International Raceway for a good time, but one organization comes out to serve those who served our country. ABC 13's Casey Baylor spoke with one soldier who says this has forever changed his life.
William Babineau is a staff sergeant for the U.S. Army. He was trained to fight and was deployed to Iraq over a decade ago.
When you've served 10+ years in the military, you can't turn that off cold turkey.
He says he suffers from mental health issues and severe ankle pain. Operation Motorsport is helping him overcome that.
This has just been kind of one of those things, hey, let's get better, let's get healthier.
Administration Coordinator Mel Gallagher says this is the main goal for Operation Motorsport.
It gives them that sense of purpose again, that team feeling. It gives them it shows them that there's opportunities out there and that they don't need to be one of the 22.
22 refers to the number of soldiers who commit suicide every day. She says she wants to get soldiers and veterans before they think about committing suicide, and she says this organization is changing lives.
We get phone calls from their spouses, from their children after a weekend going, I don't know what you guys did, but my dad's back. I'm getting to see smiles again.
They're not just helping me because I'm in the Army, they're helping me because that's what they want to do.
Now, this is the race car that William Babineau has been working on throughout this weekend. Since the past 3 days have been such an experience for him, and he hopes other soldiers can come out as well. Reporting at Virginia International Raceway, Casey Baylor, ABC 13 News.
When people think about going to a resort, they think of white sandy beaches or tropical sunsets. But when it comes to the Operation eMotorsport iRacing Summer League, we prefer America's motorsports resort. We are here to bring you coverage at VIR for Operation eMotorsport's iRacing Summer League, powered by Recaro, live on Podium Esports. Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Taylor Burris, and joined by my colleague in the booth, Rachel Whiteford, and our producer is Ryan Bauer. Ryan, of course, is using cameras created by Dougie Beard. Rachel, we are at one of the most beautiful and iconic racing circuits in North America. Virginia International Raceway provided great excitement all throughout the decades, and now we are here in the virtual world for Operation Motorsport.
We very much are. Now we're here at VIR running the full layout, which means this is a 3.27 mile track or 5.26 kilometers, and it has 17 turns. Often called America's Green Hell, it opened in 1957 and it closed in 74, but thankfully it reopened in 2000 and we get to enjoy it virtually and in real life again. Now, this was actually picked recently as one of Car and Driver magazine's top 6 road courses in the US. This place hosts all forms of racing from professional to amateur, and it is a massive property, and it's kind of a resort, like just mentioned. It's a motorsport resort where you can go for a vacation and race cars. How cool does that sound? Now, of course, this full course means we are going all the way around, including the S's, an oak tree, and everything, although irritating, the oak tree is no longer there. The corner is, the name is, but they cut the tree down. Sad.
It's very sad indeed, but I have heard that they are actually trying to regrow a tree to put back in the oak tree corner, so it's going to be exciting to see when that happens. Of course, as you see in the virtual world, it's a lot of different things changing here as we keep an eye on the many things, but
it certainly is, of course, and this track really does put some testing to the drivers. We have slow speed sections, we have high speed sections, we have very difficult parts of the track to balance a car because you're having to compose a lap of many different styles of driving. Now put a bunch of other cars on that track. The whole first section from the first corner, which is a big braking zone from the whole front straight run, high speed into that big braking zone for a hairpin, and then we have a tight twisty section all the way through to about turn 6 where we get to Snake, where things pick up pace as we run up that straight. We get through South Bend towards Oak Tree, then we come around, nice big long straight again, Madison Avenue, down to back straight, down to the roller coaster section for a twisty, fast downhill run onto that start finish straight. It really does become quite tricky.
it certainly is very tricky indeed. It's going to be full of excitement, full of interesting scenarios for several different drivers. Of course, one of the main classes that we have here tonight, the beneficiary class, which is in the GT3 cars. John May, of course, leading the point standings in this class and having a phenomenal season after picking up a couple of wins already, including at Long Beach the last time we were on here and racing, as you're on board with him right now. He currently sits 7th in the standings of qualifying as he continues on overall, but currently also sits 4th out of the beneficiary class, which we'll touch again here briefly on these 3 classes, Rachel, as we have 2 different styles of cars, but 3 different classes.
That is absolutely true. Don't forget, now you see those blue plates, those are our GTE cars, and they are competition license holders of both past and present, and iRacers with an I rating on road above 1900 points. Then we have Open. This is the first of our 2 GT3 classes. This is open to active service members and Operation Motorsport supporters. And then we have the beneficiary class in green, also GT3, and those are the beneficiaries of Operation Motorsport.
Certainly is, as we get ready to see how they qualify. Of course, there you see our pole sitter overall for the GT3 class, and then also the open class. That is Mario Gonzalez, who's also been a strong competitor as he's currently in his Mercedes in that 777 as he works his way through. And then, of course, you have Dave Hines in the 57. He's currently your pole sitter in his Porsche for the Pro class. So it's interesting to see who will come out on top in that, but as we look through, Dave Hines, Chris Pies, as well Christopher Walsh, strong competitors in the Pro class. Of course, another driver to keep an eye. He's not in here at the moment, Kurt Poulter, who has always been a strong competitor in the Pro class, but the beneficiary class has been dominated by, of course, drivers such as John May and Hunter Reeve, who are going to be doing battle here once we get ready for qualifying.
Yeah, it certainly will be now. This is a group qualifying session, unlike last week where we had it solo cars, so people can get a lap in at Long Beach here. Not as big a deal, so we'll see what they can do. They're all working together or against each other on the track, so we'll have to see how that does play out. Oh, a couple of cars got off track whilst qualifying. But this place and the championship so far is really hotting up, of course. This is race 5. We have the 31st at Daytona, then it's Road Atlanta on the 7th, and then it's Watkins Glen on the 21st. And don't forget, we have something in the middle there, don't we?
We certainly do. We actually have a special benefit charity race coming up. That is the Operation Motorsports Benefit 4 Hours of the Glen. It's going to be exciting to see that happening on September 12th. 2 styles of cars. There's going to be the Pro Class of GT3 cars and then an M Class of GT4. So very exciting to see what will happen when we get that started. Of course, that will be on September 12th. And as we are seeing here right now, as qualifying is just about finishing up, a lot still going on. I believe Jason is here with us to talk a little bit more about that 4-hour race.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing this evening?
Doing wonderful.
Great. So yeah, thanks for having me in here just to kind of highlight the partnership we've got going on here with Mad Sim Racing, and thank you, to you guys here at Podium. You're going to be our broadcast partners for this. Mad Sim Racing approached us about a month or so ago to want to give back to Operation Motorsport and use the sim racing world. So what they're going to put on here is the Benefit 4 Hours of the Glen, as you mentioned, on September 12th. This is going to be a 2-person driving event, endurance 4-hour event at the virtual Watkins Glen International on September 12th. It also is going to kind of coincide with an upcoming event that we have on the weekend of September 18th and 19th at Watkins Glen with SRO, as we'll be there for the real race, where we'll be doing honoring our heroes, kind of a tribute and commemorative event because we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So we're going to use the Mad Sim Racing event here to kind of help bring some funds in to help promote and help us with activating beneficiaries in the real world event, but also to promote our upcoming event the next following weekend.
Certainly is. Any possible already drivers who have confirmed their entry into this race? I noticed a couple of teams have already signed up for this event coming up.
Yeah, I'm watching the teams come in and connect there through the Discord channel that Mad Sim Racing set up. I am not well versed in the virtual sim racing world to know who's who in the zoo, but I do know I think we have some very strong competitors joining us. We're also going to be having some of our own beneficiaries that you're going to see here tonight in our iRacing League going to be joining that race as well.
Of course. And finally, Jason, where can people go to take part in this event or even have the opportunity to, if they want to just donate during this event? Yeah,
so we're running our fundraising through a thing called Pledge It. They can go to www.madsimracing.com to get more details. They can also just reach out to us directly at operationmotorsport.org or to myself, jason.leach, Leach, at operationmotorsport.com. Oh, I'm sorry, .org.
Wonderful indeed, and we look forward to seeing that. And of course, looking forward to covering the event here on Podium Esports as we look forward to that event on September 12th. And with that, I believe we have another special guest joining us here for the pre-race festivities. We're now joined by the Director of Marketing for Virginia International Raceway, Mike Rose. Good evening, Mike, and thank you for joining us here on Podium Esports. And I think we might have a little technical difficulty. We'll get Mike back here momentarily. But Rachel, it's a great opportunity to see what we have going on for that special event on September 12th.
Yeah, certainly it's going to be an amazing event, of course. A busy weekend, a tough weekend for a lot of people. But we can bring people together with racing.
It certainly is. And we're going to now try Mike one more time. Good evening, Mike. How are you today?
Hey, good evening. I'm great. How is everyone out there?
We are doing wonderful. It's good to hear from you. First and foremost, to begin with the pre-race, what would you like the viewers at home to know about VIR?
I guess the main thing I would say is that, VIR, as we always say, is built before lawyers. So when you when you look for the typical type of runoff here, or the I won't say cookie cutters, but the modern, so many different I guess improvements that some people call. We are a track with consequences, and it's great. We love it that way. We'll never change it. There are grass runoffs. There's plenty of runoff at VIR, but you won't get gravel traps. You won't get in those types of situations. So that's what I'd probably say. A track with consequences, and it's so much fun. It's the built 1957. It's been reopened for 21 years. I mean, this is our 21st season, so since reopening. So it's really cool to just be able to share such an icon, such a natural historic track with so many people out there, and we really appreciate you all highlighting it tonight.
Certainly is. And of course, a lot of special events happening currently in the 2021 season for you guys. One, of course, is the 2021 VIR Speed Tour coming up on September 23rd through the 26th. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
It is. That's always a fan favorite, but it's such a great event. It's like so few that are out there, at least that come to our track each year, because you'll have the vintage race cars. You're watching a car from the 30s and 40s, and 20 minutes later, there's the modern day Trans Am cars out there. So the variety of what you'll see and what you experience is just so fantastic. I mean, it's like I said, it's a little bit of everything, dating back to as far as they can typically bring them out. So one of my favorite events for sure. I'm a car collector and love the old cars more than most. So I really enjoy looking at them, and whether it's the car show that the Speed Tour brings, or whether it's like I said, the action on the track.
Certainly is, and it's always good to see historic racing continuing to come out to VIR. Of course, we're here tonight with Operation Motorsports. Please tell us a little bit about your involvement with Operation Motorsports Salute to Service earlier this year.
We were really very honored to be part of that when Diesel and Tiffany and so many others talked to us about it. The military as a whole, active and veterans, mean a great deal to VIR, and in fact, active military are free every day, and that includes big events like IMSA. Veterans are 50% off. The owner, her father was in the military. So I think there's so much of it ingrained in us. When you live in this area, there are so many people that are impacted directly and or indirectly by the military. I think I saw a stat one time where 30% of the active military lives within 150 miles of VIR. So we're really, really fortunate to have so many good people around. And Operation Motorsport is just one of those. When we had that opportunity to be involved with SRO event and the Salute to Service, I mean, we were very humbled and really enjoyed that whole experience. I think, we learned a lot of good things. We had a great first year, and hopefully, if the Operation Motorsports folks, Tiffany Diesel and everyone else will allow us, we hope we can be included next year and can do some things bigger and better.
Certainly is, and as the field of cars are now rolling out on the track, you'll see the timing and scoring with the starting lineup for tonight's race. Mike, as we continue our conversation here, what does it mean to everyone at VIR to be the first track where Operation Motorsports activated their beneficiaries?
I thought it was really cool. Again, going back to humbled and honored. Like I said, military means a great deal to us. We obviously have many of them that are on our staff. And so we were really, really honored to have Operation Motorsport be target us as the first place to activate. We've had a great relationship for many years, and it's only that much better. And there's so many more things we can do and that we want to do and that we will do with Operation Motorsport. So it's just, what do we want to try next? As I always tell them, we try not to say no. We try to just say, how can we do this?
Certainly is. And of course, you were talking about your staff, and of course, looking ahead, what do you and your staff at VIR look forward to the most starting in 2022?
I think we all hope that you don't have the impact of COVID to any degree as far as people being fearful of coming out or being concerned about their safety or anything like that. I think that's probably the number one thing that we hope. Now, fortunately, Virginia has done pretty well. We are a outdoor venue, so we can manage things quite capably. But other than that, I don't know. We have a great deal of development that is coming to VIR. We have not announced it publicly other than a couple of things. And over the next coming month or two, you'll hear about new buildings, new track improvements, new fan-friendly spectator viewing areas, several things that we've wanted to do for a few years that are now happening. And you'll see in the next 2 or 3 years, all of those will be done. And it's going to be exciting. It's an exciting time to be around VIR.
It certainly is. VIR has always been a fun track for me to go and visit when I lived up in the Carolinas. One more question. You've already touched on it a little bit briefly earlier on, but for you and Connie and everyone on the team at VIR, what does it mean for you guys to be supporting the wounded service members in both the United States and Canada through Operation Motorsport?
I think it's fantastic what Operation Motorsports does in any way, shape, and form that we can help with all those wonderful veterans, active, wounded, and any other way that we can. We want to be able to help. What our servicemen and women do on a daily basis, we'll never see it as civilians, but we can only understand a small part of it. We see, with the number of training facilities and areas that we have here at VIR, we see a lot of it every day from a training perspective, but we can only imagine what must be experienced out there in the world. And if we can help brighten somebody's day, or if we can help bring somebody some relief, even if it's temporary, I mean, it's an honor and a privilege that we have that opportunity to do so. And Operation Motorsport, does a great job with everything they've brought to us.
They certainly have. Well, thank you, Mike, so much for joining us this evening on tonight's broadcast. Of course, for those listening right now, to see the full calendar of events and get your tickets for the 2021 VIR Speed Tour or any other events coming up to VIR, please visit VIRnow.com. That's VIRNOW.com. And as we see here, we see the cars, stars and heroes of Operation eMotorsport. They've already taken the green flag as they work down the back straightaway, heading up to the top of the roller coaster. Dave Hines leads the way in the pro class. Mario Gonzalez leading the way in open class, while Brock Hogan leads the way in the beneficiary class as they make their first attempt at full speeds down the roller coaster, heading into Hog Pen. Rachel, very exciting. Field starting to spread out just a little bit as they come down the front straightaway to complete lap number 1.
Yes, and yeah, lap 1 in the bag, and it is Hines out front for the pros with Gonzalez for the open category. Couple guys hitting pit road with a rough start. Brock Hogan leading the way there for the beneficiaries in his Lamborghini. So it's going to be going strong here already. And Gonzalez and Campbell once again having their little battle in the front there of the open category as always. We'll see what Pies and Walsh can do as well. They're just behind your leader Hines. So there's a lot still to go on. Of course, you had our our starting grid you saw just on the screen a moment ago. Of course, just to touch on who started wearing that. Of course, Hines, Walsh, Pies for your pro class. Open was Gonzalez, Campbell, and Beeman, 1, 2, 3. And beneficiaries was Hogan, Reeve, and Poppenhouse. So we'll have to see how this one plays out and goes onwards here, but the race is definitely going to be an interesting one. We've got a really competitive field.
We certainly do, as you're on board with Chris Walsh as they approach the famous oak tree bend here as they work their way through. It's a double apex. You gotta kind of stretch it out into that first apex before widening out towards the exit and then diving into the inside as you come across the oak tree as you're on board with Dustin Burkholter. Heading down the back straightaway up to Roller Coaster, a great opportunity to utilize the slipstream and try to catch up to your competitors as they work their way down the back straightaway up towards Roller Coaster.
Definitely are, and this is a very busy section of the track here, of course. And our first sections we've had a couple of little moments so far, so that's one to keep an eye on. But the roller coaster is definitely one of the big ones here for getting the cars unsettled on that segment. And we're seeing the weather conditions leading to things being a little bit more spicy, shall we say. Sky is pretty strong right now. It's winds 5 miles an hour, very open track is that can be a factor. Humidity's low. Temperature's just slightly warmer than normal, so a little looser.
Just a little bit. That's going to see how the handling of these cars are going to go as they come out of the horseshoe, approaching the NASCAR bend here. That's turn number 3 before they then head over to the left hook of turn 4 and then will snake their way down, of course, through, the snake, as they would call it, as they go underneath the bridge, working down towards the south bend. But the competitors here are working very hard. You see the GT class right here of the pro drivers. Closest battle is for second between Walsh and Pies. Still a tight battle for your open category lead between Gonzalez and Campbell. Pretty much the class of the field when it comes to the open class, as these two, Ferrari versus Mercedes, have been battling week after week, as these two have ever since the season opened. Rachel, putting on a fabulous performance since we started.
Really has been, and we've seen a great variety, of course. And what we're seeing right now is the race really being an interesting one because we've not really had Lamborghinis out front, but here we are, Brock Hogan in a Lambo leading the beneficiary category. John May, points leader in a Mercedes. So we're seeing the cars shift from the Porsche and Ferrari dominance early on to different cars, really showing they've got legs here. And it's exciting to see that happen in the GT3 class.
It certainly is, and of course Lamborghini has picked up multiple wins in the GT3 category in IMSA competition, including Mercedes as well, as they are currently leading their respective classes. There you see Rodney Campbell in the Ferrari working their way down the roller coaster, a very treacherous corner. You have to be precise on your entry, entering the braking zone, and then coming up over to Hogpen, a corner where you can have to breathe the throttle just a little bit, Rachel, before just opening it up and heading down the front straightaway here. Good opportunity to utilize the slipstream to set up a pass heading down towards turn 1.
Very much, and turn 1 is probably one of the best places to do it. There are other places. Out of Oak Tree is a good run there as you head towards the roller coaster, but into 1 is great because you've got a nice long straight there to use that draft, and it's a great place because then you can battle back and forth over the next couple of corners which lead to the defender.
Certainly can be leading to the defender as they come out of NASCAR bend. One car goes a little bit wide off the course. That looks like to be the BMW of Tyler Beamon. Of course, he is trying to work his way through. Nice recovery indeed as he joins the track back 5th overall in there and 3rd in the open class. As another car, that's Chris Walsh. We talked about him. He was running 2nd. Gathers it back up as he comes out of Oak Tree Bend. A tough strategy right there. Let's take a look at the replay as he is now approaching Oak Tree. This is where he is now at South Bend and now enters the braking zone towards Oak Tree. He's trying to make up ground on Dave Hine, but as he comes off, he gets a little squirrely right there under braking, locks it up into the grass and just barely touches the tire barrier, continues on, will lose a couple of spots, dropping back to 4th in overall and in the pro class as he is now back on the throttle out of Hogpen, trying to hold off the number 5 of Brandon Cedric in his Corvette C8R down the front straightaway heading to Horseshoe.
Yeah, definitely in this case. Gonzalez right now still leading the open class. Campbell very, very close to him. Those two on top of each other. Mercedes leading Ferrari there as they head across the line here to complete lap number 4. As Brock Hogan, he's just behind him as well, but Hunter Eve, 2nd place in the beneficiaries. A little bit further back, actually, in this regard. He's currently sitting in the region of 8 seconds adrift there of Hogan. So can Hogan be today's hero?
He's certainly going to have to see if he will be the hero here today in the beneficiary class. I believe he's making his debut here for Operation eMotorsport, and that is Adam Poppenhaus in the number 36 Ferrari, as he is currently trying to close in. He's about 3.4 seconds back. He has Tyler Beamon behind him in the open category as they come out of the left hook, heading down into Snake. In this section right here, you have to make sure you hit those curbs right on the money as they work your way down underneath the bridge and then make the steady climb over to the south bend. Another area where you have to hit your marks. Be careful not to go too much into the throttle because you'll easily decide to be a lawnmower, a very expensive lawnmower, as a matter of fact, as they work their way over to Oak Tree.
Yeah, that's very much the case. Now, we mentioned NASCAR Bend a lot, and why is that?
Well, I do actually. NASCAR used to run here back in the early days, as a matter of fact, in the 50s and 60s, and Richard Petty ran actually a couple of Trans Am races and SEC events back then, so that was the reason of why they brought in the NASCAR Bend.
No.
There is a little bit more to it, though.
Yes. Notably named, yes, because of Trans Am, but it was a 66 Trans Am race where those guys, Petty, Pearson, and Wendell Scott, actually had issues in that corner. So whilst a lot of people say it's a left-hander that's kind of very much a NASCAR-style corner, and yes, it has that, but three of NASCAR's big heroes really struggle with that corner, which is funny, as they're used to doing those.
Certainly are, indeed. It would be interesting to see any of the NASCAR cars come out here. Of course, the last time a NASCAR race was held was the K&N Series several years ago, so as we see the sports cars continue on their way through the roller coaster section heading into Hogpen, a great deal of cars. There goes one of the Corvettes as you're now on board with the BMW M4 of Tyler Beamon in his number 5, running P5 overall in the GT3 class, third in the open category. Having a tough time trying to find his way around Adam Poppenhaus for that position, but also trying to be a little bit cautious in keeping a clean car.
Yeah, that will definitely be important because we've seen a lot of people really make mistakes here. Solo car could have unforced errors, ending up on the grass, and of course, he talked about it before the broadcast. This track is unforgiving. What runoff? You're dealing with grass, which will keep you going towards those tire barriers on the outside, which does make things struggle. So you've got to be really well put together here and make sure you don't put a foot wrong. It's a lot like motorsport is, of course, in iRacing's terms. Of course, in real life they've sissified it and filled it with runoff areas, but VIR is pure. You know, you drive, if you go off track, welcome to being actually off the track, where you do not benefit from that.
Certainly do not benefit at all. The only time you want to be off-road is at the rally course, which is back behind the circuit a little bit here at VIR as you work your way on a little bit further back through there, closer towards where you see the tavern as you work your way towards there. But on board with Dustin Burkhalter, and as you go through this section here, Rachel, with Snake, you'll notice a little bit sometimes there's a couple of nice little houses on there. And those are some actual places where people can go and rent a weekend out there and enjoy racing and still not have to travel too far to go to the garage. Whoa, close call right there for Dustin Burkhalter. Could not catch which driver that was, but that was a tense moment for him. That was Philip Cartier in the number 13 Porsche. Let's take a look at the replay right there. As he is working his way up towards the south bend, I think one of those curbs might have bit off a little bit more than he expected and loops it right around.
Yeah, right in front of the 75 machine, which definitely made things a little spicy for him for just a moment. For Reed there, it's tricky. This track will bite you. You put a wheel off in the wrong place and it will really hurt you, so you just got to be careful. Looking to the sharper end right now, Gonzalez and Campbell still running there with each other, although they've got a lot of traffic ahead of them. That could actually be a pick to see if we can see a change there in the open category, as that 13's off again, a little bit further around the lap, actually. He's struggling for traction, I think, at this point right now, but as it stands, Hines has legged it. He's 15 seconds clear of the rest of the field. Walsh at second place with Pies in third. Really separated out here. You know what, I'm looking at things by grid order, not by race order. That is Big Brain. No, Pies is in second place here. And that will be behind him, Burkhalter mentioned.
Yep, Burkhalter and them coming through the left hook right here as they approach turn 5 before heading down the snake as they work their way through, trying to hug the inside as best they can, then hitting the marks through the curbing. And looking at timing and scoring right now, Burkhalter has the second fastest lap of the race. Currently, the fastest lap goes to Dave Hines with a 1:43.749. Burkhalter trying to catch up a little bit, but still not able to find a way around Christopher Pies, who has already won a couple of races this season, as well as the BCA Series 6 champion, as he is working on in a Ferrari this time, heading down the back straightaway and heading up the hill towards roller coaster before having another fun ride down. And Rachel, I gotta say, I had the privilege of driving at this track in one of my personal cars, and going downhill through the roller coaster literally lifts you up out of your seat when you're going down. It's quite exhilarating, quite fun, but also a little bit tense when you're maybe not in a racing car per se.
I can see it doing that. It's one of those sections of the track where it will really throw the G-forces on, which can definitely get the drop. Obviously not in the virtual sense, but hey, maybe one day.
Trouble for the beneficiary leader of Brock Hogan in his Lamborghini. Clips the curbing a little bit. That will send him around and give the lead over to Adam Poppenhaus now in his number 36 Ferrari. Take a look at the replay right here as they work their way down towards the south bend. Another bit of curbing action here for Brock Hogan, as you'll see it right about there. You will see him clip the curb, and around he goes into the grass. And another GT3 car becomes an expensive lawnmower as it goes back out onto the racing surface. And now continuing on its way, unfortunately for Brock Hogan, he sits now 5th in the beneficiary class, 8th overall. I gotta point out, Brock Hogan has had strong runs, but has always had one of those small little mistakes that costs him a chance of victory here. Hopefully he can turn it around before the season's over with.
Yeah, I think when he can tie it together, he'll really do well, and he'll be an absolute force to be reckoned with in this. But it's not just a simple fact he caught some curb back there. In fact, this is one of the biggest problems that has caught everybody out so far in this race at VIR, is that he caught a bit of grass. He was braking with a wheel on the grass, which completely upset the car. The differential did not like that whatsoever. The wheel got different traction, and all of a sudden the car's spinning around. And it's because there's such a subtle transition here between the grass and the track that you can just be moving yourself out, track out as far and wide as possible, and then it will bite you in the behind. So you've got to be super careful.
You certainly have to be very careful indeed as we watch here the battle for second in the pro class between Dustin Burkhalter and Christopher Pies as they work their way down the front straightaway here as they work their way out of Hogpin down towards the horseshoe. And as they continue to do their battle, you will not miss any of the action. We're going to go side by side here. You're watching Operation eMotorsport iRacing Summer League powered by Recaro, only on Podium Esport.
On average, 22 veterans from North America commit suicide every single day. That's one veteran for every second of this video.
Motorsports was a transition for me.
And it helped him a lot. It gave him a focus. It gave him a purpose to get up.
35 years in the Army, and I needed something to transition into. And so from that transition came an idea, and the idea was this.
We have 3 veterans here today that came from Fort Bragg. I think in total we've probably got 21 so far that we've touched in 9 months.
A lot of people have ideas to help veterans, disabled veterans specifically, and ill and injured. The difference is that we've already established a rapport in the paddock.
We're in the right place at the right time in our lives to be able to take these guys that are wounded and put them in front of people that can actually show them that there is a camaraderie, there's a brotherhood within the motorsports industry, that there is potential for career opportunities for them if they have the skill set.
What it becomes is a diversionary therapy. And so when you look at the effect it has on the guys, that diversionary therapy translates into them coming out of the dark places and finding a new hobby, new friends. They meet new people, new experiences.
With the little smiles that you can see, the difference in their behavior, how the service guys and the veterans open up from the Friday and what they're like on the Sunday when the event is over. It's amazing. It really is. You can't describe it. You have to actually witness it.
We're the full package. If you're only giving a one-day experience, that individual is still going to wake up on Monday with the same problems. And what we do is we do the follow-up. What's next? Recovery is a journey, and every one of those journeys is individual. There is no cookie-cutter solution to any of this. It's very, very personal.
Welcome back to Podium Esports coverage of the Operation eMotorsport iRacing Summer League powered by Recaro, and we see one of our beneficiary class drivers, John May, hunting down his competitor, Adam Poppenhaus, for the race lead. And speaking of John May, he's picked up multiple wins this season. He's the points leader in the beneficiary class, and Rachel, he's also our beneficiary spotlight.
That is very true, yes. John May is married and a father of 2 young daughters, and originally from the small town of Covington, Virginia. Military service ran deep in his family, both sides going back as far as he could tell. And he enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps straight out of high school in August 2000 before retiring in July of 2016 with 4 combat tours. Operation Iraqi Freedom in Al-Anbar province, Iraq. Again, Iraqi Freedom in Al-Anbar province. Operation Enduring Freedom in Africa, and Enduring Freedom in Helmand Province, Afghanistan. This guy has done quite a lot. After his retirement, he went back to school. He earned degrees in both computer programming and networking, and he started to notice how much the effects of PTSD, and along with a lack of rigid discipline and routine, in addition to all the small differences between civilian and military life, made a big difference in his mental state. He withdrew from the world, and he said that one of the things he did still enjoy was racing. He started bouncing around through different games before building his own computer using his schooling, and decided to connect with people by streaming his racing. That allowed him to network and not only found iRacing, but also found Operation Motorsport, where he was introduced by another beneficiary. He thought it'd be a fantastic fit. He joined them, and he's found a group of racers where he feels like he belongs. They all have something in common. They all signed a blank check for something greater than themselves, and they're all broken in some way, but there, in Operation Motorsport, it doesn't matter. They're just there to race and enjoy the moment. Make sure you check out John's streaming, by the way, on twitch.tv/disgruntled USMC. He has some great stuff up on there. It's always a blast to watch. But 4 tours. Hats off to you, sir.
Hats off to him indeed. He had a close call, as a matter of fact, while battling it out, as he now once again regains control of the race lead. He had a major incident, of course, with Adam Poppenhaus and one of the lap cars, Porsches. Couldn't quite catch which one that was. I believe, if I'm looking at it, it's going to be Joshua O'Connor who made contact with him along with Adam Poppenhaus and unfortunately sent him around. That then handed that race lead over to Hunter Reeve, who then had an issue coming out of the oak tree hairpin, which then allowed John May to once again be back up where he has always enjoyed being, up in front of the field in the beneficiary class and starting to pull away from Hunter Reeve. Quick notification also with the open class, as Rodney Campbell has taken the lead away from Mario Gonzalez, as he will now lead in his Ferrari. And Chris Pies and Dave Hines, well, those two were battling also in the pro class. Hines lost the lead for a moment, regained it, and then Christopher Pies went and took it away from him once again. So a little bit of chaos for our leaders here tonight at VIR.
It would seem to be that way. It's just one of those situations where that's going to be a big factor for people. It's a tricky track. It will challenge you. The racetrack is as much an opponent as the other cars.
It certainly is. No, indeed, as we saw that happening, as you're on board with Mark Bray, as we see him losing a little bit of speed. He's letting some of the faster cars by. As he's getting a slowdown penalty, he will continue on his way.
Yes, certainly will, and we'll have to see how that one plays forwards. Pies leading the pro class with Hines just behind him there, 2.8 seconds back. Leclerc is 4 seconds adrift of Pies, so that could make things exciting for us. Campbell has a good lead on Gonzalez. He has at about 14 seconds a head start. John May, wow, our beneficiary spotlight is leading the beneficiary class by a good margin over Brock Hogan right now in second place. So May and the Marines are looking like they're trying to pull that total back to Army. Forget, we've been running our little unofficial championship between the various branches of military, both US and Canadian here. Army's on 14 points. Can John May bring that title closer for the USMC? We'll have to find out.
Well, of course, John May has been really the main flag holder for the United States Marine, as he is working his way on with another victory possibly in hand for him. As he works down the front straightaway, it is going to be 3.5 minutes left to go on the clock, or about 2 laps to go. We should be seeing the white flag here momentarily, as Christopher Pies is currently now entering the horseshoe and then working his way over to the NASCAR.
Very much so, and wow, we'll see what does evolve here. Not a lot of time left on the clock, so this is running down now in terms of drivers trying to find an opportunity to make a pass here and try and up their point score for the event. We'll have to see who can hang on to this, because as we've seen, anything can go wrong here in an instant.
Certainly, indeed. We saw that happen in here during this entire broadcast, from flag to flag, cars going off track, making mistakes. It seems like nobody wants to lead the beneficiary class, as we've seen incident after incident. There you see the 69 Resilient Racing Rick Haslett in the open class. He's running 10th in that position overall. There's now Hunter Reeve, who was leading momentarily. He's dropped back to 9th in the overall GT3 class, and I believe, looking at that, running in the 4th position, actually make that 5th position in the beneficiary class. Brandon, as we now look to the 3-way battle for 2nd place in Pro, that's Dave Hines, Brandon Cedric, and Chris Walsh. So you have Porsche, Chevrolet, and Porsche battling out, kind of like what we saw at Le Mans over the weekend, as the Ferrari, as we see Christopher Pies doing, pulling away as traffic is involved. One car goes off and continues on his way down the roller coaster. No major incidents. They will continue to fight.
Yeah, they're going to try and do exactly what they can here. It's getting very tight on the racetrack. Walsh there and Leclerc side by side here at the line. Oh, it's super close. It is nothing between them. Leclerc just ahead as they cross the line there. This is for 3rd place, of course. And Walsh puts himself up in turn 1.
Coming out of the horseshoe over to NASCAR, you see Brandon Cedric trying to find a way to get back around the Porsche of Christopher Walsh. Can't quite seem to find his way as they enter the braking zone. So difficult to set up a pass going through the NASCAR bend and the left hook as they now approach turn 5A and 5B. Before heading down the snake, you have to be careful to time the right way to make a pass. Christopher Pies getting held up a little bit by one of the BMWs. I believe that it's going to be Tyler Beamon, who is having some trouble getting by. He will now work his way up towards the south bend as Tyler Beamon sets 3rd in the GT3 class, 3rd in the open class, as well as Pies leads the way up to the top of the hill through Oak Tree and begin to head down the back straightaway once again.
Definitely doing that at the moment. It's going to be close now with the clock. Oh, so low. 30 seconds here. They should. I think, no, this will be most likely our last lap, I think, here. Taylor, or are we going to get one more?
I think we might be getting one more lap. It should be the white flag this time by for your race leaders here. Christopher Pies just now coming down through the roller coaster, approaching Hog Pen. And as they come out of the Hog Pen, as it's going to be close, 10 seconds left on the clock as the race leader comes approaching towards the start-finish line. Will it be the white flag? 4, 3, 2, 1. That is the white flag lap right here. So this is the final attempt for Christopher Pies to hold off a hard-charging Dave Hines, who was 2 seconds faster last time around. I think Christopher Pies was trying to slow down a little bit to make this one he was on the final lap, but unfortunately he's got to do it one more time around.
Yeah, one more time around, and this is a matter of microseconds that led to this one more lap, but one more lap can change the entire story here, as we've had Sparran go off from the pro class right behind John May, your beneficiary leader there. Brock Hogan is coming through, still looking at the second here. Winker right behind him. That could change as Poppenhouse coming into one now. Reeve is just going to finish his previous lap, so he'll have another one to go still. But things
have a look at it.
Contested here at the front. Pies is right there. Campbell is actually heading towards the end of the lap here, so he's actually a bit more than a lap back, but I think Gonzalez is nested up there right behind your leader in a knot of other cars from the GTE category. So all round goes the car behind them. I don't know who that was for a second. I'm going to try and work that out, but
that was Brendan Cedric who went around. But how about the battle for the race lead right here? Dave Hines flashing his headlights all over the back bumper of Mario Gonzalez as he tried to find a way back by him. They approach the roller coaster for the final time. Chris Walsh tries to send it in deep. He's right there on the back bumper. He takes a peek to the inside, can't make it stick. Christopher Pies slowly, methodically has climbed his way back up to the race lead through Hogpin for the final time. Christopher Pies will take home another victory for his Ferrari here at Virginia International Raceway, as Dave Hines will come home second. Chris Walsh rounds out your podium. We got to go, of course, once again to our beneficiary class, as John May will lead his way down through Hogpin for the final time. Coming out of there, he will pick up the win in the beneficiary class. And unfortunately for Rodney Campbell in the open class, he's still got to do one more lap.
Oh, that's going to hurt so badly. Oh, unfortunate, but there you go. One more lap for him, but May will come home with a win for the USMC. Our beneficiary spotlight winning in that class. Brock Hogan comes home in second, so a good recovery from him. And Winker in third.
I think Hogan made a late pass right there. If we can maybe get a replay on that, that seemed to be a very interesting battle between those two drivers, I think. Nope, it was just good. He had a little bit of advantage over there. So I thought I saw Hogan passing someone, but Winker coming home in third in his 07 Ferrari. A good run for him as Campbell pressing down the back straightaway for the final time, heading up to the roller coaster. With one more drop on a roller coaster. Everybody should love a good roller coaster ride, and VIR always provides excellent roller coasters here. As he approaches the top of the hill, let's go on board with him as he goes down for the final time. Just a quick slide here through these corners, making sure you hit the curb just enough. And then, of course, the long sweeping corner of Hogpin out of there for the final time. He will pick up a checkered flag at Virginia International Raceway in his Ferrari. 2 Ferraris taking home the checkered flag in their manufacturer. So a great run for them. And, of course, the Mercedes once again at the top of the podium for the beneficiary class of John May. With that, we'll go ahead and give you your full field rundown. Christopher Pies once again takes the victory in his Ferrari over Dave Hines in his Porsche. Chris Walsh will come home in third, followed by Dustin Burkholter in fourth. Brandon Cedric will come home fifth, followed by Martin Wallace in the sixth position. Bradley Beamon will come home seventh. Rodney Campbell comes home your winner as the last car on the lead lap in the open category. Mario Gonzalez, the first car 1 lap down, followed by Tyler Beamon, rounding out your top 10.
Behind them is John May winning the beneficiary class in 11th overall, with Brock Hogan in second for them, Rodden Winker in third. Fourth place, Adam Poppenhaus for the beneficiaries, with Mark Bray behind them for the open class. Jason McSparron for the pro class. Rick Haslett for the open class. Hunter Reeve there in the fifth position for beneficiary, with Tyler Reed and Glenn Gray from your open field in 19th and 20th. Behind them is from the beneficiaries Tim Bernard in 21st, 22nd Philip Cartier, and 23rd Joshua O'Connor.
3 cars coming home to race here today at VIR, and we now speak to 3 of those drivers. Your beneficiary podium finishers are Spotlight driver once again, John May. Welcome back. Congratulations. A very exciting and chaotic win for you as you had the lead, lost the lead, got it back again, and never looked back.
Yeah, that was a fun win there. Had to play a little bit of dodgeball there, but man, I am stoked. Win at the home track. Was not expecting it one bit, but I will take it any way I can. Another Crayon Eater win, and we're going to keep on racking up the points.
Certainly is. That's going to be a big benefit for you with the points lead once again ever growing. We go from probably one of the most technical road courses that we have on the schedule to the high banks of Daytona. What's your thoughts on that as we go there next week?
Love Daytona. Just finished racing all week long in the LMPs at Daytona, so I am ready to see what's going to happen there. As long as we can make it through turn 1 and through the bus stop clean, I think it's going to be a great race out there.
Certainly is going to be exciting once again. And John, of course, you racked up some more points for the Marines in our unofficial military branches point standings. And before we let you go, anyone you would like to say thank you to?
I'd just like to thank y'all. It's been great going back and watching the broadcasts after the race, and I plan on doing that here as soon as I get off the podium with y'all.
Certainly is indeed. Congratulations once again. We look forward to seeing you in the Sunshine State next week.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
That is John May, your beneficiary GT3 class winner, as Rachel has now caught up with second place driver Brock Hogan.
So anyhow, Taylor, thank you, Brock. It was looking amazing for you. Then we had a bit of an incident with braking on the grass, and what a recovery fight for you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, VIR is a very hard track, and unfortunately, you got the better of me a couple times during the race today.
Yeah, it seemed to do just that, but overall, a difficult circuit. It's one you mentioned last time, I believe, that you quite liked. And honestly, the fight back, you regained so much ground there. Just, how hard is it to charge on a track that's this challenging?
Yeah, it's a very challenging track. Obviously, the grass is there, slowing you down and turning you at any chance. But at the same time, once you get a couple of good runs going, it's kind of easy to start hoping that other people are not even hitting the grass, but just making small mistakes. You can come out of the roller coaster and have some good speed coming out.
That'll benefit you, of course, and chalking up 2 more points for the Army in the championship there, the unofficial one, the most important one, of course. But anybody like to give a shout out to or thank today?
Yeah, of course. I just want to thank all of Operation Motorsport for again putting this on, Recaro and all the sponsors, and Tooth Autosport.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, Brock Hogan. Today, coming home second in the beneficiary class.
Sorry about that. John, we had a great finish in 3rd position here. Talk about how chaotic it was for you and how you're able to take home this 3rd position.
Well, my strategy played out. I was having a really hard time with setups at this track. So I knew that I wasn't going to be the fastest out there, so I figured I would just try to survive with the least incidents, because I knew there was going to be quite a few. So strategy played out for sure. Luckily, I think I only ended up with about 3 incidents that, and I think really that was the key to taking 3rd.
Well, we noticed how tricky and interesting and intricate VIR is. We now head to Daytona next week. What is your thoughts about racing at Daytona and coming out with another opportunity for a podium or even taking home a win?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Daytona. It's been a while since I've run out there, but I really do like the track. So I'm hoping I'll be able to at least get a podium. I'd love to take 1st.
Well, John, before we let you go, you racked up, of course, another point for the Army branch for the unofficial point standing, the point standing we all like to talk about. But is there anyone you would like to say thank you to?
As always, I'd just like to thank Operation Motorsport and Recaro for putting a series on. And then I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Skip Barber and Red Lion Oil.
Of course, that is John Winker coming home in P3 in the beneficiary class. And Rachel, we have already completed another race. We now leave the lovely, luscious green valleys and mountains of VIR and head to the sunny beaches of Florida in Daytona Beach, my home track, as we look forward to that coming up next Tuesday night, of course, starting at 8 o'clock. And of course, before we go, Rachel, we have to say thank you to some very important people. First, starting off with Recaro. Whether it's on the track or iRacing, Recaro Automotive is all about making the driving safer, more comfortable, and more controlled. A driving experience that you can really feel. Recaro Automotive puts people first, every time. An ergonomic sitting position means a more comfortable position, with perfect seats, contours, and innovative features that support your body. Recaro Automotive makes driving fun, be it on the road or on the racetrack. Recaro Automotive performance seats are more than just a set of components. They exude innovation, quality, premium materials, craftsmanship, and a genuine passion for cars. For more information, visit their website at www.recaro-automotive.com. Recaro Automotive is proud to support Operation eMotorsport iRacing.
They certainly are, of course, and Operation Motorsport is a veteran-led and operated organization, a not-for-profit organization based in Brighton, Ontario and Raleigh, North Carolina, serving Canadian and American service members and veterans, and it was founded on the basis of 3 simple words: excite, engage, and empower. The premise is to engage ill and injured service members and veterans affected by their military service through motorsport activities to aid in their recovery and rehabilitation. To find out more information, please visit operationmotorsport.org. That is operationmotorsport.org.
And of course, we have to say thank you to our series partners of the Operation eMotorsport iRacing Summer League by Recaro, of course, including Recaro Automotive, the USO, and Mobile One. For Jason Leach and Diesel Lauder and the entire Operation Motorsport team, for James Pike, Cisco Scaramouza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore at Podium Esport, For our producer tonight, Ryan Bauer, and for my colleague in the booth, Rachel Whiteford, I am Taylor Burris. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of the Operation eMotorsport iRacing Summer League, powered by Recaro. From Virginia International Raceway, we hope to see you in the Sunshine State next week at Daytona. Good night.